As you can see, we have a weekly TPD right here that was outlined and posted in the Telegram. So with TPDs, that is an indication of SMT on a lower time frame cycle, which is exactly what we got. And I will cover on why this SMT failed and why the high got ran one more time on the NASDAQ. But on the Telegram where I posted the TPD, you should have been looking for this high to get ran through as it did, and then a drop back into the range. So looking at the 6-hour time frame, a lot of people have had questions about this time frame, and a lot of people were wondering why it was favorited on my time frames. Now I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this is for your notes. The 6-hour time frame makes everything a little bit clearer as far as reading price and knowing what's going to happen next. So looking at the 6-hour time frame, we can see a 6-hour TPD right here that formed the high of the week and the high of the month. Now where this 6-hour time frame formed, or the 6-hour time frame TPD formed, was the second standard deviation of the manipulation before the expansion of CPI. And as you guys know, in the last one, we wanted to see price drop down a little bit and then continue higher. So our analysis on that was spot on. And then we go to that second standard deviation, form the TPD, and then boom. Now, as far as why didn't this monthly SMT work out at first, is because it was unsymmetrical. So, as you can see right here, this was the first monthly SMT, which we wanted to see, but price expanded away from it a little bit and then reversed, taking it out again. So we have a monthly SMT right here, an immediate one, and what I've taught before in a past live stream is that whenever you get a SMT early on, like in Q1 of a lower time frame cycle, or Q1 of a higher time frame cycle, and then expand away from it, Q3, which this is Q3, is likely to reverse without really showing a good reason, which is exactly what happened. And whenever we reversed right here, we formed a non-sequential SMT and then broke away from it, traded back higher, forming another SMT. So this was unsymmetrical price action. So that is why price ran through it one more time before officially reversing. So this was the real SMT right here. And as you can see, the 6-hour TPD right there, forming the high of the month. Now, why do you choose this price run right here? Why this one? Because it's in Q2. It's not in the Q1, which everybody knows is consolidation. This seems like a random price run. Well, if you look at Q1, we had expansion. If you look at Q2, this was more of a consolidation. So X, A, M. It's all starting to make sense now, isn't it? So the reason why we choose this price run right here is because this was the short-term high and short-term low before the expansion of CPI and the continuation higher, which we wanted to see. Now, another thing for your notes is whenever you have this and price reaches the 2 or the 2.5, that's where you'll see your reversals and retracements. And in this case, it was a reversal. Now looking further into the range of the 6-hour TPD, we can see that immediately the next day, the NASDAQ traded into premium, and this is basic TPD right here. The NASDAQ traded into the premium of the range, while the S&P traded into discount of the range. So this in and of itself is a cracking correlation. Now as far as entry went, my entry was in premium on the NASDAQ inside of this rejection block. Now, why is this a rejection block? Because I see a lot of people, they plot rejection blocks in their chart, but they don't choose the correct candles. So, as you can see, this candle right here took the high of the previous candle and then expanded away from it a little bit, while we have a TPD inside of this. The reason you choose this one and not this one is because the rejection block needs to be a close of a candle. So as you can see, this candle right here, we have open, low, high, close. So this is the closing price. And then with this candle, we have the open, low, high, close. So the reason why this wouldn't be the rejection block is because if it were, then it would be the close, which would be right here. So the real rejection block is this candle. As you can see, we trade into it, hit it, buy the tick, and then expand off. As far as prediction goes, these lows on the S&P, which we called, I believe, during the weekend, I posted a chart screenshot saying that these lows were way too clean, and that's where I wanted to see price draw towards. And the reason why it's these lows in specific is because they're unsymmetrical. As you can see, the S&P made relatively equal lows, while on the NASDAQ, it is a low and then a higher low. So, headed into, I don't know if we'll hit it by the end of this year, just because this is like the real last trading week of the year. But as far as draw and liquidity goes, we could see these lows on the S&P getting tagged. All right, now Q&A. The 4 hour and 6 hour time frame for the monthly cycle, right? Technically, it's the 4 hour. I know, but don't get why the 6 hour time frame. I'm just introducing you guys to the 6 hour time frame. Haven't covered why or its use or anything, which my private group will know later on. Do you use the 8 hour time frame? No. So yeah, this is to get you guys thinking, because nobody's really talked about the 6 hour time frame before and its use. At the same time, we also have a monthly with Dow. Why don't you trust it? Because Dow is all the way in discount and not correlated whatsoever with what the NASDAQ and the S&P were doing. And in the last one and the one before that for live streams, I said anything that happens with the Dow is going to be low probability. So I really only use the Dow whenever it's closely correlated and not decoupled like what we're seeing now. Now it's in correlation again because of this huge drop we had on FOMC, but whenever it's decoupled, stay away from it. How to avoid all the losses shorting every SMT we had. Understand narrative. In all of those live streams, I was calling higher, except the small little... This retracement, I wanted to see this, but we were bullish. We were bullish here. We were bullish here. We were bearish here. We were bullish here. And then we were bearish here. So everybody that kept on shorting up here, all-time highs, kept on getting wrecked. Because you need to understand narrative. When do you consider a gap filled? We need a deeper explanation on what you're talking about. Do you trade only during days and sessions with red folders? Typically. Because sometimes we have days without red folders, but with very good price action, yes. Yes, there is a reason for that. Do you think we will go to another all-time high from here, or is this it for the bull run? I think we will definitely continue higher at some point, just not right now. Because the futures markets are quite literally designed to go up over time. Like, there are people that have put their retirement funds in here for 60 years and they're banking. Even during the COVID crash, even during, I believe it was 2022, that entire year was bearish. We completely wrecked it in 2023. So yes, over time, whenever time is right, we'll flip back bullish and then take out these highs right here. But as for right now, our draw on liquidity is these lows. Do you trade PM session? Not typically. We've been learning OSOK from day. Can you explain the setup under OSOK? Do we not have the OSOK for this short? So one shot, one kill is just a two-stage SMT. I'm pretty sure there was an SMT here with, yeah, there was. So there was an SMT here, just not an immediate one. So if this were a one shot, one kill, it would have been the monthly SMT, which we got this, and then it would have been the weekly SMT, having a monthly and a weekly, two close together cycles, forming an SMT at the same time. That's the one shot, one kill. Technically we did because there were two stages, but it wasn't a textbook one. So we had stage 1 be the monthly SMT, and then stage 2 be this daily SMT right here. Day says that for reversal we need intermarket SMT and to validate a setup we need intermarket SMT. Is it really something important, or are SMTs enough for us? In all honesty, once you have, okay, so SMTs, intermarket SMTs, I only look at them or actively look for intermarket SMT whenever there's not an immediate SMT within the triad that I'm trading. If there's not a normal SMT there and there's an intermarket SMT, that's whenever I'll consider intermarket SMT. But once you have that foundation of SMT that gives you narrative of bullish or bearish, you don't even need another SMT to get into a trade. You can use the continuation model, which I taught, which doesn't even require SMT. So in my opinion, no, you don't need intermarket SMT. You can literally just use the NASDAQ and the S&P for the rest of your life and find something to do. Is it going to be less frequent? Yes. Will it be higher probability? Also, yes. The more you add into the equation, the more blurry it gets. And the more you're prone to thinking you're seeing something in a chart that's not really there, and then boom, take a loss. We had a weekly and daily SMT in the bond triad. Is that enough to expect lower prices in the index futures triad? If they are synchronized, yes. If they're synchronized with premium and discount, yes. And also this will be talked about in the 2025 group of when to actually use assets. Because in the past live streams, we've just been focusing on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Completely disregarding the Dow and still being highly accurate. Can you talk about how you think this monthly candle will end and some monthly analysis? We already have. These lows right here, if we look on the monthly, open, high, low. Now, will it take it out this month? No. Well, I'm not going to say no, but will it take it out this month? I don't know. Is this our draw on liquidity? Yes. But whenever you want to catch the monthly candle or the monthly candle expansion, you go down to the daily time frame. But yes, macro perspective, these lows. So when the triads are in sync, yes, the triads must be in sync for any intermarket SMT to actually be valid. On the 1 hour at the lows, the 1600 candle for today, this, yes, this is a TPD. You said that higher time frame narrative is important, but is important during a retracement. Can you talk about retracements? Because we have a bullish SMT on a higher time frame and a bearish SMT on a lower time frame, we're supposed to retrace. But how can we be sure it's a good retracement? For example, if we have a bullish monthly SMT and a bearish weekly SMT, how can we be sure that the weekly SMT will retrace properly? If it's retracing into a gap. So, example. This is a daily fair value gap. That's outlined. We'll make it blue. This is an SMT. If we look at the higher time frame structure that we've had, you can see bullish, 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 bullish. All this is bullish. So this SMT, if we trade into this gap and don't break below this gap and then form a reason to be bullish inside of this gap, that's how you can anticipate the highs to be broken through again. And something to keep in mind is, and many of you probably already know what I'm about to type. External to internal range liquidity. On the retracements, you want that to be going into internal range liquidity. So if you're let's say, like you were saying, this is a monthly SMT. And then here we have a small little weekly SMT. Our higher time frame narrative, bullish. So we have external range right here at this low. So this would be, I'll move this in the middle. So this would be external down here. Take the external liquidity, form a monthly SMT, expansion. From that expansion, you're either going to have reversal or retracement. In order to know if it's going to be a reversal or a retracement, if there's a gap resting right here caused by the monthly SMT and it's a lower time frame SMT, then you can likely see that as a retracement, and then within that gap find a reason to be bullish again to target this unsymmetrical range. So does that make sense? Now, if this were a monthly SMT, then you're kind of playing the 50-50 game. Can you walk us through how you determine the draw on liquidity on each day or each week? Identify which order flow, bullish, bearish, are in control. Also, is it true that we have a monthly SMT right now? In order for us to switch bullish again, we need another monthly SMT to go up. So, with that, I see this. So you're talking about this. Yes. Yes. Okay. So you're talking about this right here, right? You're saying, will this be a reason for us to reverse and then take this high? Is that what you're asking? Find a reason inside the gap, the reason being another SMT or PSP? Yes. I'm asking if we want to go up, we need another monthly SMT. If we don't have a monthly SMT, then we'll continue to go down from here? Yes. But we need something greater than or equal to what caused this reversal up here. But first, we need a short-term consolidation. But now we have a monthly SMT, right? So do we go up from here? No. Are you talking about this monthly SMT of how the S&P took out this low, but the Nasdaq has left this low? So the reason why you wouldn't want to use this SMT, and the reason why I don't see this as a viable SMT, is because which asset made the failure swing? The Nasdaq or the S&P? Looking at this SMT, which one made the failure swing? The S&P, exactly. So the S&P made the failure swing. So this one is stronger for the downside. The Nasdaq made the turtle soup. So this one is going to be weaker for downside momentum. This right here, the S&P is the leader for downside. Whenever it breaks below this low, all I see this as is SMT market structure shift. So yes, a true market structure shift. And the reason being is this is why it's not another monthly SMT to cause this to reverse. Is because it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Sequential. I don't know how I forgot that one. Yes, it's not sequential. So we look at the monthly cycle. This is not sequential whatsoever. And also, if you look at the monthly. If you look at previous month's low, you can see it's down here. So in order for a monthly SMT to actually, that's non-sequential, to hold any substance, is whenever it's the previous month's high or low. The previous month's low is all the way down here. The previous month's low for the S&P is all the way down here. So all I see this as is, this is good. I want to see this. If I want price to draw down here, and the S&P tags below this low because we know it's the leader for the shorts, I see this as a good sign and a true market structure shift. So the reason why you wouldn't want to use this or see this as a valid SMT is because, one, it's non-sequential, and two, we have an SMT that just took place. Whenever you have an SMT, and I've explained this in a previous one, you want to see that next quarter actually play it out. You don't want to see an SMT and then the immediate next quarter see another SMT, and then, like, that's not how it works. For high probability scenarios, you want to see an SMT and then that next quarter be expansion to play it out, and then maybe the quarter after that will reverse. I've confused this in the past with doubling theory. Yes, I talked a little bit about doubling theory right there. Went right over most heads. Weekly time frame TPD ES also closed bearish. Exactly. Another reason on why S&P is the leader for shorts. After SMT and PSP, do you enter directly on the PSP or do you wait for entry MMXM? Within the PSP, on its correlated time frame, you will see a market maker model more times than not. So yes, high probability, yes, it will be there. What about SSMT on top and bottom in the same quarter? Low probability price action. Seek and destroy profile. So the 1 hour TBD that formed at the lows currently is just for a small retracement. You wouldn't trade it, correct? Yes, I would not see this hourly TBD and be like, yep, let's long. Like, I don't see that as this. I see that as, okay, we could probably retrace and then continue. That's all I see this as. If we wanted to trade the short continuation, what should we look for? Wait for Number one, wait for time to be aligned. So the time you should look to enter should be close to the time that a news event releases. So tomorrow and Friday. I'm not sure if it's NFP week. I haven't, no, what am I saying? NFP week? No, this is middle of the month. But I know we have news for Thursday and Friday. Yeah, what you would want to see is you would want to see any of these new week opening gaps. For best case scenario, any of these new week opening gaps be respected, or the time that news comes out to form an SMT inside of one of these gaps. And whenever you have gaps like this, you'll typically find SMT fill. So whether it's the NASDAQ retracing into here and then continuing, and the S&P going into here and then continuing. But personally, I would want to see this gap stay unfilled for both assets, just because of how strong we are. Because it's not every day that you get a drop like this. Like this cleared an entire couple weeks worth of range. Yes, for short continuation, you want to wait for a small retracement and then wait for an SMT or a PSP, which a PSP will probably be a little bit better, and then continuation downward during Q2 or Q3 New York AM session. Which sequence is correct? PSP higher time frame, SMT middle time frame, or PSP higher time frame, SMT lower time frame? And is this a good trading model? There are both of them are correct, but as far as utilizing them, utilize them in different ways, and both of them are equally as good. What do you prefer, predefined SMT, TPD, or TPD turtle soup? I prefer the turtle soup. If it's already predefined, then you would look for a gap. Which R did you get from the short? Oh man. Can't say too much. And do you consider Q4 and Q1 of microcycles as micro SMT or 90-minute SMT? It depends if Q4 of the microcycle form the higher low of the 90-minute quarter. For the continuation trade, you mentioned seeing a PSP would be better. Since we have 1 hour gaps, would you want to see a 5-minute PSP? No. It's a 1 hour gap, 15-minute PSP. That's the continuation model. Do SMT fills also work on FEGs that have already been filled, or only on FEGs that haven't been touched yet? Preferably, you would like to see it on fresh fair value gaps like this. Like this is best case right here. But fair value gaps that have been tagged into a little bit and then get returned back into one more time, you can see it with those as well. And typically with those, it'll overextend a little bit and trade a little bit further through the gap. It's a little bit less precise. What time frame did you enter the short you posted and why that time frame? I already explained it earlier into the live stream, so you can go back and watch it once it's uploaded. Are the true opens always at the beginning of Q2 or during the manipulation phase? During the manipulation phase. Every single quarter's opening has importance. Are you bullish for tomorrow? Absolutely not. I don't think I'm bullish for the rest of the year. Even up here. Oh no, it was right here. Even right here, I said look out for what came today. New to quarterly theory, from what I understand, is that an SMT between 2 sessions and quarters, then why the daily or monthly since NQ didn't take out November low. So the reason why that's a little bit confusing to you is because that is doubling theory, which is a lot more advanced than quarterly theory, which if you're new, I don't recommend you focus on. But yes, you are correct. SMT between 2 quarters. That is sequential SMT. And that is what mainly forms the high and low of whatever you're trading, whatever cycle. How do you know if a FEG is high probability? Is it just SMT, FEG? So you know, this is how you know whenever a fair value gap is high probability is whenever it comes and it forms off of an SMT. That's how you know it's high probability. The breaker, the fair value gap, the mitigation block, the order block, whatever PD array it is, should form off the basis of SMT. That will make it a lot higher probability. Thursday wants to reverse into the range. As far as what it does in the meantime, like it could stay right here and just consolidate. That's fine. But macro perspective, you guys know what to look for, these lows. Whenever it comes to this time of the year and like very low probability price action, I don't like to play guessing games on lower time frames. Would this be the quarterly shift? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens once we trade below these lows. Did you get some crypto, sir? I was a proud Bitcoin buyer at 26,000. First, I bought Bitcoin. Let's see. Yeah, it was down here. I think, yeah, it was. Yep, right here. I bought Bitcoin under this low once it drills down here, which on the futures contract is showing 33,000, but on the spot it's showing 25,000. But I bought around 26,000. This is where I bought Bitcoin initially, and it's been doing pretty good. Sold most of the bags though. Is January price action worse than December price action? Generally, they're going to be about the same. So with January, it's going to be a lot more consolidative. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to navigate, but you can still find things to do. You can still find setups. Will you teach the basics of QT in your 2025 mentorship? You will understand everything about QT. My discoveries and all of the good stuff. The stuff that I think is important. You will have an entire arsenal of things that will be already put together for you. Can you explain SMT skip? That will be explained in TPD Part 3. But I've already introduced the concept in a previous live stream. When Ferrari? What is the significance of the futures contract expiring this week? Lower volatility. Not lower volatility in the sense of like large range days that you saw today, but the volatility is a little bit spread out. So the reason why we had this is because of news, FOMC. But the volatility right now, like the orders are spread between the December contract, which is NQZ, and NQH. So the orders are spread between these two contracts. So it's a little bit less probability. Day tells us that for reversal we need two different cracks, not just SMT higher time frame followed by a lower time frame. Is that true? So generally speaking, you need two reasons. I'll call it reasons. You need two reasons for price to turn. And the reasons could be a lot of things. But the easiest and most high probability ones are, yes, just a higher time frame SMT and then a lower time frame SMT happening at the same time, which would be the one shot, one kill. What do you enjoy doing in your downtime away from the charts? Workout and hang out with people. Yes, traders actually go outside. I know, it's crazy. Crazy to believe. Yeah, I work out in the gym like 2 hours a day every single day. Trying to get to 160 right now. I'm at like 154. But I'm still lean. Wow, 2 hours a day every day. You don't need rest days. I get rest whenever I sleep. Yes, this will be in the Telegram. I'm a little confused on why you mentioned SMT between months on the QT indicator. There isn't quarters between months and only within months. 4 weeks. This is monthly SMT. So monthly SMT is between the days of the week. So yeah, monthly SMT is between the days of the week, not between the months of the year. Let me reset. I said that wrong. Monthly SMT is between weeks. So like this. As you can see here, this week we opened and we made a failure swing on the S&P. But on the NASDAQ, we made a higher high. So this would be classified as a monthly SMT. And it's sequential because it's from candle to candle. So this would be a monthly SMT because the monthly candle is made up of 4 weeks. I don't know why that's so difficult for me to say. But yes. So the monthly candle is made up of 4 weeks. Each week is considered a quarter. So monthly SMT is SMT between weeks of the month, not month to month. Can an SMT be viable from month to month? Like monthly high, monthly low? Yes, and that's part of doubling, which is a little bit more advanced. Sometimes when we have SMT PSP and we enter on the PSP, the price occasionally comes down to liquidate the PSP, hitting our stop loss and then moves to our intended direction. How can we avoid this? Wait for an SMT at the low of the PSP. Either a predefined or a candle 3 SMT. Unless price is trading in a higher time frame level and just put your stop loss below or above the higher time frame level. Do you reprice based on market structure? Like for example, in the short, do you wait for the 5-minute or 15-minute switch bearish and sell on the retracement of the bearish move? Sometimes. But if I'm confident, I can enter before the market structure shift. Technically speaking, the market structure shift was like right here. This would be like the market structure shift. Really, it could be this low. Because we have high, low, higher, high. So this would be like a breaker. But we entered all the way up here. Strength training or hypertrophy? Hypertrophy. I've always mess up saying that word. I know it's pronounced a different way. I'm gonna get flamed. But the second one. Really, I just go to failure on like every single one. And then either add or decline. Literally just take 2 scoops of pre and just go. 2 hours straight. Okay, then I got it. What is SMT between months called then? It is doubled SMT. So monthly cycle, but I always wonder why they didn't just call them weekly SMTs, because a weekly SMT is between the days of the week. And there are 4 quarters of the week consisting of days forming the weekly cycle. But if you waited for that, you missed all the move. Not necessarily. Well, yes, if you waited for a 4-hour break of structure all the way down here, then yeah. But you can even wait for like a 2-stage SMT in here. Or I'm pretty sure there was like another. If we look at the 4-hour, if you wanted to wait and be extra cautious, this is technically a gap. It's an implied fair value gap. You could have waited for a retracement here, short, have your stop right here, target these lows or these lows. How do you determine the new month opening gap? Because with Trendline Indicator, we have the new day opening gap and new week opening gap. You just measure it from the previous month close to the new month open. Because you use the 4-hour time frame when looking for monthly SMT, and with weekly SMT you need the hourly time frame with each day being a quarter. Yes. Got a double scoop. I swear I'm a caffeine addict. What kind of pre? Don't know if I should say their brand. Just because it might sound like something it's not. I'll say it anyways. The Mother Bucker, it's like my favorite. That's crazy. I was thinking about going to DMAA or DMHA. It's uncharted territory right there. Can you walk us through how you determine the draw on liquidity on each day or each week? Identify which order flow, bullish, bearish, and control. As for, I think you forgot to answer it. Oh yeah. So, like I said, I say this with every single one. Higher time frame narrative, the most important thing. If you have a higher time frame SMT and the new week opens up and you have equal highs above, you would look for those equal highs. But for day to day and week to week, it really comes by means of experience. And that's what you guys are going to watch me do for the 2025 group, is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to say, hey, I want to see this high get taken or this low get taken. And then if it pans out, we walk through on, okay, why did it happen? So whenever you get down to like lower time frame charts or lower time frame cycles, like the 90-minute cycle or the daily cycle, you'll learn over time what highs and lows should be traded through, what highs and lows shouldn't be traded through, and trend continuation. But you have to see somebody do it, explain the logic, and truly understand before you can get to the level of just pointing towards a high or a low and being like, I think it's going to go here, or I think it's going to reverse. Because that's exactly what I've been doing with you guys since the start of November. And as you can see, our accuracy, you know what, right now, because there were a lot of trolls in the Telegram, what has our accuracy been since we started doing these? Say 100%, 90%, 80%, or 70%. 10%. Brandon's a troll. Can we use OTE for PSP entries? I think I know somebody does. I haven't looked into it though, but I'm sure you could. I prefer premium and discount though. How should we pick targets? Which lows, which gaps? Highs and lows that are unsymmetrical. Don't do the DMA, it's too good, but it can give you a heart attack. I got addicted to it back in the day. Yeah, that's why I don't want to start. It's crazy. Is this course exclusive to students of the day mentorship? No, it's for anybody. And it's friendly, like it's new, people that are new to quarterly theory, it's beginner friendly. Like I'm working on a current little series right here, and the people that are already in there, they know. The Back to Basics series, that's pretty much going to explain to you everything you need to know before we get into the real stuff. So everybody's going to be on the same page. Pretty spot on, over 90%. 195, exactly. And whenever we review, and you guys come to the streams and you watch and you're like, oh, that's how I got to that conclusion. And then the next week forms and then you see it again. And then you slowly learn over time, okay, this high should be drawn to, this low should be drawn to. I've seen this before. Once you see it happen over and over and over and over and over again, you have somebody call it beforehand and then explain it. That's how you're going to get a very deep understanding, and you're going to be able to anticipate it and be able to actually trade off of it. Only miss was calling the highs on the S&P. Yeah, that was it so far. But as you can see, yeah, it was these highs right here that I wanted to see get drawn towards. But the markets has decoupled a lot. The NASDAQ skyrocketed as we expected, so it just formed an SMT. How do you determine which high or low is protected? Is a protected high or low? SMT. How do we protect Day's IP when chatting with beginner students? I guess you would, I mean, I don't think his IP is out there, so I think you'll be good. But the current students who I do know, because I am an admin, but I do know for the 2025 group, for Day students, not my students, but Day, is he's only letting like 150 more people in. Like, it's going to be extremely exclusive. The people that are in there right now are pretty much going to be the only ones that are going to have a clue of what's going on. And the current people will not be able to communicate with the new people for the people that joined Day in 2025. Do you prefer backtesting or static? Wait, do you prefer backtesting static price action? I think it's beneficial once you understand and have your strategy down. But once you get it down and you understand what you're looking for, forward testing is 10 times more beneficial. So tape rating. When does the mentorship kick off? For me and Day, it will kick off, I believe, January 1st. I think it'll be the first real week of January, because I know like January 1st is like, it either falls on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it's a bank holiday as well. But that first full week of January is when everything's start kicking up. This isn't like a Scam Romeo course right here. That's crazy. I did that to his people. What gives you right time to trade apart from economic calendar? SMT and higher time frame PD arrays. If you have SMT, a higher time frame PD array, and news, that is a very good time to trade. Are there any promotions for Day students? I don't believe he's looking for any more admins. If signed up for the QTR, is it possible to upgrade to the yearly? For mine, yes. Just DM my assistant. What is your relation to Day, and are you guys working in his team, or are you former students of his? So all the admins, which is only 3 of us in total, we were in the 2024 group, and we've been there ever since. And we signed up in like November or October of 2023. So yes, we are students, but we also have contact with them, and any issues that come about, we bring it to his attention and talk about stuff that's going to come forward. With your mentorship, do we need Medic's mentorship, vice versa? It all depends on what you're looking for. With Medic's, I know he has a lot of his like original, unique ideas that is separated from quarterly theory. So you would be starting from scratch, not starting from scratch, but looking at everything from a different angle and learning a new perspective. But with mine, everything is built off of quarterly theory, but with my experience, I've kind of shaved everything down to what's important. So you'll be learning everything that's important, and you'll have models for yourself, because I have many models that I'm going to share in there, and you'll have many tools as well, and how to actually utilize them. Because that's the only thing that Day didn't do properly, in my opinion, for the 2024 group, is he didn't really show when to use certain things or how to actually be precise with certain concepts. He just kind of laid a concept down and was like, figure it out yourself. So whenever it says on the putting the pieces together, that's exactly what it is. I didn't know you were admin. Can you add me back to the community Telegram? Student has not helped me. Yeah, I'll let him know. So basically, okay, so you basically know everything that Day will be teaching in 2025, so he will give us an optimized version of QT. I know just as much as you guys know, but I did a lot more back testing and a lot more of my own discoveries and a lot more trial and error on what works, what doesn't work, and what's important. So yes, you will, if you join me, you're joining an optimized version of QT, and you're pretty much paying for my perspective on what works, what doesn't work, and you're paying for my analysis. And yes, like what was just said, you will have direct access to me, and these Q&A streams will not stop. It's like I said before in the last one, these streams are just a prerequisite. So if you have found value from these streams, you will be getting 3 times more value in 2025. Yeah, with Day, you're swimming alone, depending on, that's pretty much what it was. You're kind of thrown into the deep end, was told, figure it out yourself. Are you still with Day in 2025? Will Day introduce new strategies that he has not unveiled yet? Day, I know he's going to release some new concepts. I can't really say what they are, but I know he's going to release some new things. As far as staying with him in 2025, yes. I have him for pretty much lifetime. Is there a way of anticipating SMTs beforehand? If yes, can you push a little without giving the exact answer? See, yes, there is. There is a way of knowing SMT beforehand. And I called it on the Telegram before. I called a daily SMT the day before it happened. I said between Q2 and Q3, an SMT. Who remembers that? Whenever in the Telegram, I was like an SMT before, or an SMT will form between Q2 and Q3. Look out for it. And then it formed, and then we got a very clean delivery in the morning. There is a way to know, and it all comes down to weighing probabilities. And ignore that stutter I had whenever I explained that. Ruthless. How many models do you have? I have a ton that work, that have statistics. Have it all. Will we be able to extend our membership from Q1? Yes. You can renew it if you choose to. Can you have a look at USD JPY? I have not looked at this pair and I couldn't tell you how long. Let's see. We have macro perspective. We're still bullish on the dollars, I would say this high. Yeah. So as a draw on liquidity, I would look for this high. Are you allowed to teach us Day's new concept that he's going to teach? Probably not. So what I'm going to teach is a simplified version of quarterly theory with the stuff that actually works and how to simplify everything to make it easier on yourself and easier for you, depending on your personality. There will be things that are taught and sequences that'll just be 1, 2, 3, boom. So everybody that struggled will have it a lot easier, especially the people in the 2024 group that signed up. But as far as teaching Day's new concepts, I probably will not. You'll have everything that's been taught, the important stuff, but refined. And like I said again, in a simple way that makes sense for everybody. What's the most important concept of QT according to you? Highs and lows. CRT works because of TPD, if I understand correctly. Yes. TPD filters out CRT and tells you when it will work. And those that have been with me and used to trade CRT, but then learned TPD are like, oh wow, it was this the whole time. CRT makes no sense without TPD, because TPD tells you when it actually works and when to look for it. Don't say this in front of Romeo students. Romeo students are so funny. Romeo rug pulled his entire 2024 group, which is crazy to me. And people still give him a platform. Makes no sense. And he got all of this stuff from another person. Knowing your expertise is in day/swing trading, will you share with us how to scalp 1 minute 50 second? I know it's all fractal though. Yeah. Yeah, there are specific macros in time that PSPs will form that give you a lower time frame scalp on those time frames. And you've never heard anybody talk about that before. And that's an example of the new things that I'm going to bring to the table for 2025. Which the people that sign up, you'll learn about. The 3 candle model for 18 months straight. Yeah, he literally got it from Morpheus. Speaking of Morpheus, do you know TDT? I took the same trade as you using it. I think TDT is bullshit. Morpheus literally ended the year minus 20%. And it's trying makes no sense, but TPD is nice and adds depth to SMT. Yes. What's crazy is about all these people that come on Twitter is that they never do what we do and what we've been doing since November. They never come on a live stream and say, I think the market's going to draw here, and then it goes there. They always post hindsight charts. They always just finesse people. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, there's no way I can go back in time and change, but like, everything that I've called has been live in front of you guys. Like, I can't go back in time and fake that. Day as expected the day after the chart move. We're talking about hindsight chart. Yeah, sometimes day's a bit funny, but all respect for him. Day is probably one of the only people I still respect amongst the quote-unquote trading influencers. Even ICT, he brought a lot to the table, but personality-wise, he's a manic 50-year-old that I don't know why he's still allowed on social media. Yeah, ICT did butcher himself. Yeah, ICT literally made a tweet on Twitter and was like, I'm calculating all the money I'll make from YouTube in 2025. Something crazy like that. They should have started his mentorship in a year where he didn't move to 2 different countries and become a dad. I agree with that. And he was also, whenever he was in Canada, I don't want to go around spreading his business or anything, but he was dealing with a lot of stuff like a lot of legal stuff in Canada, which is, the state of Canada right now is cooked. Absolutely cooked. That's exactly why I had to get out. I do not know how he balanced being a dad and also doing all the other stuff that he works on. It's crazy. Like, that man works extremely, extremely hard. Long term, if we don't reclaim the highs on indices before the end of the year, will trigger major crash. I mean, I think the quote unquote major crash has already been triggered. It's not every day you see how much was it? 1,000 handles in the PM session. So I think this was like the general move of the month. USD CAD chart says it all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Too clean. We've already been here for an hour and 10 minutes. Crazy. Do you consider the media narrative for a move afterwards to anticipate what happens next? For this drop, the narrative was FOMC and number of rate cuts reduced for next year. So, with that, whenever you have an SMT before like a big news event like that, the news event is likely to continue on the basis of that SMT. Whenever you have a very high time frame SMT, like I'm talking quadrennial or yearly cycle, then you can anticipate if you have an SMT and a PSP with that, and then you see a little bit of continuation, the big news driver for that SMT and the continuation is going to be some like a real world news event, more times than not. Yes, the numbers, the actual numbers themselves, except for like FOMC or Fed, like the actual Fed rates, the numbers typically don't mean anything. The Fed is a psyop? Exactly. It's not even a part of the US government. It's literally family owned. Makes no sense. Can you explain what does it mean when an asset is decoupled? Like, when do you trust SMT with the Dow, when do you don't? The assets have to be in correlation to premium and discount. So as you can see, looking at the NASDAQ, and this is exactly why we haven't used the Dow at all. Haven't used the Dow at all. It's because even right here, we'll go whenever it initially didn't decouple. So yeah, right here is whenever price decoupled. Right here is whenever I said I'm not really interested in the Dow. And this quarter on the monthly cycle, we had a consolidation and then a major decoupling. So whenever the NASDAQ is moving higher, the Dow is moving lower, like this, after a short little consolidation, that's whenever you don't really use the Dow. And even right here, pretty sure, yeah. Even right here, you can see we were still trading in discount of the range while Dow was already at premium. So we kind of disregard the Dow. Retail traders got into the bandwagon on Tesla bullish trend. As some food tweeted it, will go to 650. Once Coinbase hits number 5 and above on the App Store, shorting Bitcoin. Not financial advice. Once Robinhood hits number 1, once Webull hits number 3, Robinhood hits number 1. That's how you know his time is short. I was searching for a triad of gold and ended up with comparing gold and not sure what that is. Gold and currencies. Do you think it works as a triad? Because DXY doesn't make sense for me as a triad for gold. For gold, just use platinum and silver. Would you consider NVIDIA whenever Dow is unsynced? Yes, but only with the NASDAQ. So after this drop, everything is sync again? Yes, technically, I consider this as a correction. Since we were in discount on the Dow, we were already trading like near discount, inside a discount, like around here, while we were trailing higher. After this big drop, I see this as a market correction. So everything is relatively in sync again. If I enter trade a daily SMT and a 90-minute SMT forms on the opposite side, do I cut my trade or not? It is up to you if you have anything backing up that higher time frame SMT. So like if you're in a higher time frame level, or there's a PSP on top of that daily SMT, and then you see a 90-minute SMT, that 90-minute SMT could just be an SMT market structure shift. How do we trade altcoins? You gamble them. Gamble it all away. That's exactly how you trade them. Go on what is it called? Dex Screener? Go on Dex Screener. Connect the Phantom wallet. Put the house up. We're getting rich. That's exactly how you do it. Not financial advice. What do we do on Fridays? What are Fridays meant for? Full porting. Exactly. Full port Friday. That's how you trade altcoins. Time premium and discounts only with true opens, or is there something extra? There is something else with it. And you can rewatch this one. This was a timed premium and discount range right here. As you can see, there was a cracking correlation between it as well. The NASDAQ traded into premium and a premium array, while the S&P traded into discount and created an SMT fill. If in the future I get as good, can I become your admin? If anything opens up. But right now, my assistant, he does pretty good. He's got everything pretty much covered. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap everything up here. So, the next time we do a live stream will be in the private group. Hopefully over these, since we started in November, these past live streams, you guys have learned something. I will still be a little active in the public community, but majority of my focus and my analysis will be in the private group. Yes, of course, you guys are welcome for everything. And as always, have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. And I will talk to you guys in the private group.